crypto and commodities and equities update. Just before we get into it, I just want to point out this is not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing in the market, and I'm just sharing it. So do what you want with it. Be accountable for your own decisions. That out of the way, let's get into it. So Bitcoin, let's start with Bitcoin. So move on to Bitcoin, and let's pick it from here. So let's make this, get it smaller here, make this bigger so we can all see the chart properly. Okay, so for me, okay, let's start from the monthly chart, right? And then hopefully today's Saturday at around 5:24 p.m. So, you know, we've got a few more days to the close of the month. A few more hours, sorry, for the month to close. However, what you've got here is it's kind of like a bullish. It's not bullish candle, but it's bullish. The reason why I say it's bullish is because of the stick at the bottom of the wick of the candle. So there's a lot of price rejection, which is being caused by people being either liquidated, so their positions are being closed, and when you close your position, you buy, so it pushes the price up. And also people just maybe throwing in the towel, and then buying. So the combination of people buying and also people's positions, profit taken by people closing their shorts, is pushing the price up, right? Okay, so that's what we see here. But the candle is red, which means sellers are still in control at the monthly chart. If the monthly closes like this, then of course you have sellers being in control of the market and energy flow is down, right? Now, because of this push up in price, you could expect that price will push up, maybe to about 65K. It's possible, 62K, somewhere around the 62K, 61K, 62K area. It could even push up all the way up to here, 64K, before we roll down. So that is what I'm looking at in terms of the push up, and I expect price to move slightly up and then come back down. So if we go to the weekly chart, we are painting a very bearish candle here. So once if we close like this, and probably I do expect that we'll close like this, then you'd have price maybe come back and test somewhere here, 60,500, and then continues journey down to the 53,000 zone, which is what I'm expecting to happen, that price will come back and test this 50-day moving average before actually, and may even dip slightly lower than this candle. I think anything between 40, and I've marked it on my with my alerts, 47.9 and 53K. Anywhere here we close with a bullish candle, very similar to that, or very similar to that, then that's the end. We'll be going higher and higher and higher. So that's what I'm seeing on the 4-hour setup. This 4-hour setup that we're playing with. This candle here has been recovered, as you can see, big candle, volume candle. This selling pressure here has been recovered. So the 4-hour setup in terms of recovery of this candle has been done. And when we've come down, we've done the swing up, we've come down again, and that's like a one swing down here. So off the back of this move, we've done a 1, 2, and a 3 push up. So this is one push down. There's going to be another push down and potentially another push down here, and that'll be the end of it. So we could potentially bounce up a bit. Like I said, anything around the up to even here is possible. Anything between here, 61.4, somewhere there. 50% of this candle could be recovered. 50% of this big candle here could be recovered. So before we go down, and it could be like a double top scenario. But I expect more price action to come down. I mean, in terms of unrecovered candles, this candle here has not been recovered. Hence, I've got my kind of angry face on it. It's not been recovered, so I expect it to be recovered. It's sitting around 57,500. So I expect that candle to be recovered. And then after that, the only ones which really haven't been recovered is this big candle here. Volume candle is not being recovered. So again, I would, if this plays out, then it's supposed to be recovered as well. So that's the setup which I'm looking at in terms of Bitcoin. But of course, there'll be bounces up, as we complete one level, bounce up, we could come and complete another level, bounce up, so it's not going to happen just in one swipe to the downside. Okay. So that's Bitcoin. So in the coming week, I do expect some more downside on Bitcoin. And I've written some numbers down here, which I'm going to share with you guys. So on Bitcoin this week, I'm expecting price to fall between 56K, 500, which is recovery of this candle here, 57,500, and all the way to 54K, so 54,100. So somewhere there is where I'm expecting us to hit, and then we'll bounce, and then after the bounce, we'll obviously have another push to the downside. So 56,500 to 54,100. That's what I'm looking for in terms of the full target on Bitcoin, right? So that's Bitcoin for you there. Let's look at some other coins that I'm looking at. So let's look at some of my favorite coins. Let's look at TIER. So TIER is make it here. So what you can see on TIER is it's beautiful because it's done the level 2. So we've come all the way down here, 1, recovered, then come back down 2. So I think once this candle here pokes below this needs to be recovered. So this candle here, I expect it to be recovered. The low point of this candle is 420. So I expect that TIER will go below 420 this week. 420 will be my target this week, and once we go below this, we will probably bounce back up again, maybe back up to about 496, even test the 5s, even to test up here, and then finish our last move to the downside. So that's what I'm looking for on TIER. But the setup on TIER looks really good, because you've got like a bullish candle there. This candle has been recovered, so we just need to maybe recover this candle here. If we can recover this candle and get a very strong bullish candle, then I think we then bounce all the way back up to this point before any further fall happens. So TIER, I'm quite very happy with the setup at the bottom here. It's looking really good from that perspective, because what we can see is we've dropped here, we've dropped here, we've dropped here, and this is a lower high. So if we could just go slightly below it, then that is perfect. If we just go slightly below it, that'll be really good. So that's what I'm looking for on TIER. For TIER maybe to hit all the way down here, and you can see I put my buy order there. 420 is where I'm expecting to pick some more of this coin for my long bag, my spot bag, and also leverage trading as well. So that's TIER for you. Let's look at render. So with render, what we got here is that we can see, and again, let's just make this smaller. We can see that render again. So it's done the move to the upside, 3 level pushes to the upside. We're coming down, and this candle here needs to be recovered. So it's a big volume selling candle. So I expect us to go below that. So at the very least 465 will be achieved this week. So target on this, I think I'll probably say between 435 and 465. That zone will be hit. But I think it comes all the way down to somewhere here, somewhere around the 380s. Under 4s is on the cards for me, and that will give you a lower high and when you draw it, it's going to look something like this. So you come down here, you go there, kind of, if you want to put it that way, like all the way up here. Oh, come on, this thing is in the way, but let's just draw here. You come all the way down to somewhere there, lower high, and then you sling off here. So something like that. So that's what I'm looking for on, let me delete it, on render. So expect us to go below 465, 463, we'll go below 463, and 435, 420, somewhere there for this week. And then after that, we'll bounce. Yeah, we'll bounce up, back up to maybe test the, back to the 50-day moving average, and then continue the journey to form maybe the last move to the downside, whilst Bitcoin also finishes this move. So that's what I'm looking for on render. Let's look at Pendle. So Pendle, again, it's another one of those trading coins. So Pendle is, what Pendle is doing at the moment is on this 4-hour setup, you can see we've got, it's like a triple top type scenario. I do expect this candle to be exceeded. This 2968 will be exceeded. So I expect this to continue coming down, exceed it. So my target for Pendle for this week is 296, between 296 and, let's put it somewhere here, 280 and 296, 280 and 296, where I expect us to hit on Pendle. But there will be a few bounces here and there. It's trying to, it will do bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, and then collapse all the way down. So that's what I'm expecting on it. This is the pivot. So I think once that breaks, then it's on its way all the way back down to the bottom part here. So that's what I'm looking for on Pendle, and that's what I'm playing for the week. And then let's look at also got PEPE. So PEPE, again, the setup on PEPE for me here is that, again, we've done the level rises, 3 level rises to the top. We've done our first move down, we've kind of bounced up, and we are on our way coming back down. So, for me, PEPE, I think, PEPE hits between, 7-0 here, that point here, 7-0 area, and all the way here to 622. I expect that zone, this zone between here and here, to be kind of contested. Ultimately, I think this candle here is exceeded. This candle here, which is sitting at 585, will be exceeded. It will be recovered, but it may not happen this week. So you just have to play step by step. Yeah. So that's what I've got on PEPE as well for you. And then let me look at RATs. So RATs. So what we can see is it's a very similar story on all these coins. They've done the move up, and now they've done their first move and kind of trying to kind of go back up. It's possible that it goes up to the 99s, maybe test the 200 here, 964. That is possible, but I think ultimately it will come all the way back down somewhere here. 65 zone will be tested. So for me, if you open a short sum from somewhere here, 96, it's not a bad place, 96, and then you're running all the way to about even half of here, 68. It's quite a good. It's quite a good trade. So that's what I'm looking for on RATs. Okay. I think that is about it for crypto, but I want to just cover the equities. Obviously that's quite important. I just want to cover Dixie and GBPUSD and maybe XBX. So for the Dixie, and I think last week I did talk about the Dixie and the bounce and the rebound from the low. So we were pretty much following this and expecting this move to the upside, which is played out. I don't think it's finished yet. There's more gas in here. If you go to a higher time frame, you know, and even if you go to a weekly chart, we've got a bullish candle here on the weekly chart. Maybe we pull back a little bit. So maybe I expect like a small pullback on open on the Dixie. So maybe the Dixie pulls back to about 100.2 somewhere here, maybe 100.2 somewhere there, pulls back there, 1, 2 somewhere here, and then continues his journey up to about, you know, the 102.4. So, you know, 102.4 will be somewhere here. So yeah, that's where I expect. So that's what I'm expecting on Dixie. Ultimately, I think after it's done that, you know, we've got this 21 going to cross. So, you know, I would expect that there'll be downward action, which will probably push price all the way back down, maybe to here, 100,292. The thing is, if we get to this point and we get a very bullish candle, you know, then you would expect that the price, you know, will bounce really high. Is that scenario? Or we will continue going down and we'll go down to about the 90, between 95 and 97, and then start consolidating around that zone for a while and then sling off. And if we do sling off from there, then the Dixie is going to go way higher. It's going to go past the 106 and potentially go and exceed the previous top, which is the 114. So that setup is something I'm really following closely in terms of the Dixie. Okay, so that's Dixie. GBPUSD. So weekly chart, you can see you formed a kind of a red candle there. It's a rejection of the higher price, but I think if I'm looking at it from a setup perspective, this will pull back. So it pulls back, and you know, GBPUSD, I expect it to pull back to about the 1.2829, maybe 129, 1.2 here. So the 9 here, yeah, 1.2904, somewhere there, is where I expect it to pull back to. And then after that, I expect it to rise to about maybe 132. So maybe come back and test this peak here, 1322, or even exceed it slightly. But I think it's more likely that it's 1322, and then roll over properly, right? So that's what I'm expecting on GBPUSD. So on open, you know, bounce up a little bit, bounce up maybe to somewhere around, you know, a rise to around the, you know, 1.316, and then fall all the way to the 1 here, the 129.048. So that's what I'm expecting on the British pound versus the dollar. And the last one we will cover is the XPX and gold. So gold, red candle, which means sellers are in the market. I think, you know, gold comes back down. You know, I think maybe, you know, we get a small move to the upside on gold. I have got a rise on gold at 2508, so 2508, and then it falls all the way down to, you know, somewhere the two got my 4 target as 2462, so 2462 somewhere, 2462, that's somewhere here, 62, somewhere there is where I expect it to fall. But I think it ultimately falls a bit more. But I think, you know, for a weekly target, you know, we want to be modest. So, you know, I think that target will be achieved on gold. So that's my gameplay on gold. And then if we look at XPX, so for XPX, you know, it's a similar story on XPX, because what you can see here is that the XPX, you know, we've done 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks going up. Volume is declining. Potential double top scenario. This is a switchback. I call it switchback. We've completed our key levels that I expect to see you know, from a rise perspective from here. You know, we've done this wave here, 1, this 2, this is 3, and then you've had a final push and a switch back. So, you know, I expect this to roll back down. In terms of targets for the XPX, I've got it rising up to 5653, and then falling to 5490. So it falls back to 5490, somewhere there. So that's the target, 5653, 5490. So rise to 5653 and fall to 5490. So that's the XPX for you. And I think that is all I've got for you guys. You know, have a very good week. God bless you. And you know, if you like the content, then please, you know, subscribe to the channel, click the like button so that we can get this content out to other people. And I'll be doing some updates during the week as well. So ta-ta, and we'll catch up during the week.